Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, and welcome to the review series of the franchise Saw.
Alright, this is Scare Talk. Once again, I am Danny, and I am here with Joel.
Hey guys, what's up?
And again, we want to play a game.
For a third time.
We are now on our third installment in the Saw series. Getting ready for Spiral.
Yes.
Coming out in May. So this one is basically the end of a trilogy, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, who's in this one?
So this one stars Tobin Bell as Jigsaw. Yeah, It's crazy. He's in it again. He is most famous for the Saw franchise, but he was also in Boogeyman 2.
Yes.
And The Flash for 13 episodes.
All right.
I've got Shawnee Smith.
Yeah.
She's the female lead in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in Saws 1 through 4, The Grudge 3, and the TV series Becker.
Okay.
And also an Angus McFadden. Fadian. He was in Braveheart. I'm going old school with this one because he was in some pretty crazy movies there. He was in The Lost City of Z, which I've heard of.
Oh yeah,
that was it's not that old of a movie. And also Equilibrium. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's Darren Lynn Bousman is the director.
Okay.
And he directed Saws 2 through 4, Repo, the genetic opera, and Spiral. And Lee Winnell is a writer of this one. He did the story and the screenplay. And he did Saws 1 through 3 for writing, Dead Silence and Upgrade. And this one, the story is also by James Wan.
Okay.
So he came back for this one for the story, not the screenplay. But he did the story for Dead Silence. He did the screenplay for Conjuring 2 and the story for Insidious 2.
Okay.
So he's more of the story man, I would say, than
the story man.
He gives ideas to the writers.
Gotcha.
For the most part. So
all right. So the plot on this one, the synopsis: Jigsaw abducts a doctor in order to keep himself alive while he watches his new apprentice put an unlucky citizen named Jeff through a brutal test. I like how it says named Jeff.
Named Jeff. Good old Jeff.
So I just read these off of IMDb. I don't make these up.
What? You don't?
No. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sometimes they're just going to sound weird.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not me.
So those weren't your words?
No. Plagiarism.
Guy named Jeff. You can blame IMDb for that.
Yeah. All right. So this one is sort of the end of a trilogy.
Yes.
And we get 5 more movies.
Yeah.
After this.
Yeah.
And now we're going to
technically have 6, I guess, with Spiral. But
after this new one,
yeah, it's going to be a different story, though. So.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, following Jigsaw, it's 5 more after the conclusion of Saw 3. So.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so this one is a little more complicated, I think, story-wise.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
Bits and pieces of the series kind of get complicated from time to time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is definitely one of them.
Okay, so the first, I want to say 15, 20 minutes is basically just killing off some characters from the other movies.
Yeah.
Well, the cop, the female detective, she dies rather quickly.
Yeah, they bring her back just to kill her off right away.
Yeah.
So.
And then you have the detective from the second one, Donnie Wahlberg. He smashes his foot in order to get out of the like shackle that he's in.
Yeah.
But then Amanda just gets him anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't die in this
No,
one.
he doesn't die.
Just gets caught.
But he gets caught again, so it's kind of, I guess, assumed maybe that he dies. I don't know. I don't know why that had to be in the beginning.
Yeah.
I guess it was just to
fill
remind
some time.
us. Remember this guy? Yay. He's still alive, but maybe he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of like the zooming camera work and a lot of the like flashing and quick movements and quick like scene transitions and stuff. All over this movie.
Yeah.
Like the other ones, but like on steroids. And so the main kind of idea here, the main story is there's a guy named Jeff.
That's important.
He's dealing with grief. His son was hit by a drunk driver and killed. And he is having a really hard time with forgiveness. And we learned that the guy who hit his son got off pretty easy as far as his sentencing.
Yeah.
So Jigsaw has captured this guy and he's trying to teach him forgiveness, apparently. Puts him through all these... Yeah, that's his lesson. Puts him through all these different rooms where there's someone involved in the trial that he either has to save or let him die. Yeah. So there's that. At the same time, there's a doctor who is kidnapped, and her game is that she needs to keep Jigsaw alive for a certain amount of time. If he dies, if he flatlines, she has this contraption, this like bomb on her neck. If he flatlines, then she blows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But only for a certain amount of time. So she has to keep him alive till the like timer elapses. Then she's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we find out toward the end that she's been cheating on her husband. That's why she has this game going on. And we also find out that Jeff, the guy named Jeff, he is her husband.
Yeah.
So we find that out toward the end of the movie. There's other twists as well. They get kind of complicated, but yeah. So, what did you like about this?
I kind of liked how complicated some of it was, and how like on the how much you have to really like think about what's going on.
Yeah,
'cause it's not overly ridiculous at this point in the Saw series, where it's just like, okay, well that's ridiculous. I can't believe this is happening, but it's enough to where you have to like really think about it, and I do like that aspect of it. I did enjoy this movie.
Okay, it
was pretty good. But yeah, when you were talking about what happened and everything, I do remember having him go through each room and is he going to save someone or is he going to let him die?
Right.
Some of the ways that people would die in this movie was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And
like the girl getting frozen.
Yeah.
That was It looked kind of funny, like silly to me when she was frozen.
It did. It looked a little ridiculous.
Like she was an ice sculpture.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
haven't
been frozen before.
No, and I haven't seen someone be frozen.
Yeah,
so.
That could exactly how it looks.
Yeah, very well could.
Yeah. So some of the kill scenes were a little intense.
He did save the judge.
Yeah.
who
He did.
was getting he was drowning in pig, just
Pig
ground
guts.
up pig.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, he did end up saving. I think he only saved one person.
It was just the
entire.
judge.
Yeah.
He ends up dying anyways, but he did save him for a period of time.
Yeah, that's true. And so yeah, I liked the different traps in this one. They were creative. Yeah, they definitely were creative and pretty intense from time to time, which is pretty much positive for most of these movies. Most of them are creative,
right?
In the series, some of them are a little over the top, but they are still creative nonetheless. So, I would say that would be a positive.
Okay.
In this one for me. Yeah, I want to say I liked the twist, but at the same time, it was just okay.
Yeah. So there's that twist with them being married, and then there's also the twist that it was
Amanda's test
as well.
Yeah. So that positive is also a negative, and we can get into that one later.
Okay.
So yeah, that I liked that twist of it. But at the same time, it's also a negative. So I'm going to get into that one later. But, so that was pretty much it, really. Mm-hmm. Some of the acting was okay. Yeah. Again, I'm never going to give these acting a positive review. It's always going to be neutral. Yeah. For the most part. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much my take on Saw 3.
Okay. So for me, a positive, I did like a couple of the traps. Mm-hmm. I did like the idea of forgiveness. Yeah. I thought that was a cool theme. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Those are my two positives.
Yeah, there was, as complicated of a story as this one was, it was still kind of basic. It was, as far as a Saw movie goes, you pretty much just watch this movie for the traps and stuff. You don't get a lot of information about Jigsaw's past in this one.
No, not really. You do get a little bit of him and Amanda working together. Yeah. You kind of see how they set up the other traps from the other movies, the other two movies, and how they kidnap people and how she was involved. But yeah, you don't get into before he was Jigsaw. Yeah. At this point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So what are some negatives for you?
Some negatives. Amanda.
Yeah. She's on my list.
Amanda is probably the biggest negative that I have in this, and I didn't really have her as a negative in the last one. Yeah. But she's definitely, because she's a much bigger part of the story in this movie than she was in the last one, that is definitely a negative for me. So basically, and we've had this conversation years ago about this, what I'm about to bring up and stuff. Oh, okay. About the fact that in Jigsaw's games, his puzzles, his whatever you want to call them, his traps, you can get out of those situations. You can. It's going to hurt. So you're going to lose a limb or something.
It's going to hurt.
But you can live.
Yeah.
She has them designed specifically for you to fail.
Yeah.
There's literally no way that you can escape. Yeah. And that brings me to why the twist is a positive for me, is because Jigsaw knows this.
Yeah, he's figured it out.
Yeah. And his whole test is basically you have to give people a chance to live. Yeah. That's the rules. Right. And you're breaking them by just killing people off. That's not what we do. Right. I guess it technically is. Yeah. But in a way that's not so obvious.
Right. Right. Yeah. Take it too far.
Yeah. So you're just basically killing people. Right. And that's not the moral of what we do.
It's not the Jigsaw way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it was a positive and a negative.
Yeah. It was addressed.
It was
addressed with the game that she was playing. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for most of the movie, I was like, what is this? This is not a Saw movie.
Yeah.
No, I don't like this. They don't have a chance.
Yeah.
Now it's just like a torture movie. Like, this isn't Saw anymore.
Yeah.
So, but then it was addressed.
It was at the very end of it.
So,
which I appreciated.
It made up for it a little bit.
Yeah. And also, so I think we've mentioned spoilers at this point.
Yeah.
But the end of the movie, and this was kind of a positive and also a negative for how many sequels they made after this movie. Yeah. That they killed off both Jigsaw and Amanda.
Yeah.
In the same movie.
Right.
Which is ridiculous when you're you're going to make more movies.
Yeah, I wonder if they knew or if they were trying to end it here.
Just trying to do like a trilogy of movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It felt like the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And honestly, like, I would have been fine if they just ended him. I do like the series for the most part, but it makes less sense the more movies you do.
Yeah.
Knowing that your killer is dead and has been dead for... I don't know what the timeline is for these, because some of them are parallel with each other.
Yeah.
So he's been thinking ahead for a while now about these.
He made a lot of tapes.
He did.
And a lot of traps.
Before he died, he made a lot of tapes and traps. He's had help along the way with the traps, but the tapes have all been him. But he's been dead for a while. So, yeah. So it as the series goes on, it becomes more ridiculous and convoluted and whatever, but because of that reason.
Yeah.
But so I do like the fact that they did actually kill off the killers in this one.
Yeah.
But it's also a negative because then it makes the rest of the series not make sense.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That one is also I'll say like neutral for that particular thing, because I do like the fact that they did die as killers,
right?
But then
you like it for this movie.
Yeah, for this particular movie it was good. It was necessary. It was kind of weird that they killed both of them off, I think, but if they were thinking it was going to just be a trilogy, then that's what you would do. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, I mean, those are my biggest negatives that I have. I mentioned acting is neutral. It's not some of the greatest acting, but also not the worst either.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Amanda was my biggest issue that I had with this movie.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So for me, some of the negatives, the zooming camera work.
Yeah.
It kind of works, or it worked in the first two. This one, it was just way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Way too much flashing and jumping, and the first 20 minutes or so when, it's like the characters from the other movie that basically is what they're focused on.
Yeah.
It went too fast.
Mm-hmm.
It just... Carrie, the detective, she gets caught up in a trap.
Yeah.
And it's just... I felt like it was unnecessary. Maybe...
Isn't her key in, like, the bottom of, like, acid or something?
Yeah. And then her, like, whole chest gets ripped apart and everything. I just didn't like it. I didn't like how fast it went and how quick scene to scene was. And it was just, like... They were just trying to wrap things up with her, like, so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the movie has, like, nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, she was in at least the second one. She may have even been in the first one, too.
Yeah.
And then just to kill off her character like that all of a sudden, I think she was in the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Definitely the second one.
Yeah.
But
she was a main character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just really choppy, especially the first 20 minutes or so. It was like they filmed that really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did the movie and then they're like, oh wait, what about her?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's go kill her off real quick. And
yeah.
So after she is done, then the movie kind of slows down and you start to build a little bit of character and then it gets better. But the first 20 minutes did not like.
Yeah.
There's background music throughout the entire movie. Like, I don't remember a scene where there's not some sort of background, like, just something in the background.
There's something
it's like,
always going on.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, no, we don't need that. This is not intense right now. Like, you have to, if you have that through the whole movie, then when something like intense happens and the music turns up, it's not effective.
Yeah.
The music has to be placed in strategic parts.
Yeah.
For this movie, it's throughout the whole thing.
Or take the music out completely when it gets intense or something. That kind of do some sort of opposite effect or something. But yeah, it was really annoying to have it through the whole movie. I think I remember that actually.
I didn't like how Jigsaw looked. He looked like, do you remember the alien from Men in Black? Like when they like open up one of the like people's faces and there's like the alien inside
like
the
dying
head.
inside.
That's what he looked like. He looked like a dying alien.
Oh man.
He just looked ridiculous. He was not cool in this one. I did not like him in this one.
Yeah.
And he just he didn't have the same effect as Jigsaw, and he wasn't like menacing or scary or he was just weak and just not good.
Yeah.
I didn't like him.
I do remember. Yeah. His character was definitely, they did something between 2 and 3 that to his character that was not okay.
Right. Jeff, the guy named Jeff. Bad actor. I didn't like his acting. He sucked. He was not good.
That's why I said some of it was okay.
A lot of screaming. Again, these like torture scenes, just so much screaming.
There is. I mean, I never really have a problem with the screaming in these types of movies because it makes sense. Like, you would be in a lot of pain in a lot of these different scenarios, different traps and everything. And so the average person, they scream when they're in pain. Yeah. So like, I understand the fact that like why they're screaming. But it does happen a lot in these types of movies. Yeah, for sure.
And the scenes with the torture and the traps, it's like, I don't know, there's always like a time limit, So it's like, Jeff, you have to save him in 90 seconds. Yeah. Or whatever. There's a time limit. But that entire time, someone is screaming. Like, there's not a time when someone is not screaming.
I mean, they're
in pain, fine. But it's just a long time to hear someone scream. It's like, screaming is one thing. I get it. You're in pain screaming. But for the audience, it's just like a long time to withstand hearing screaming. So I get it. Like, it's believable that you would scream, but it's just like, okay, let's end this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times they're screaming, but they're not screaming in pain at that point. Yeah. Because they're not in pain yet. Like, something, like, help me! Something suddenly happens. But at the same time, you wouldn't be calm in that situation either. No, you're just like, oh, can you get this thing off me real quick? I'm kind of on a clock here. So.
Right. No, I agree that you'd be panicked and you'd be, it would be somewhat like that. But it's just it's not enjoyable to watch. It's just really not. And they really get into the torture stuff in this movie. Like I said, each trap has like a time limit. But for that whole time limit, it's just torture. And it's just not my thing. Yeah. And
that's because it's Amanda that's doing it, not Jigsaw.
Right. So and that it really brought down the series for me with her being basically the main villain. Yeah. She's not good at that. Like, I don't know if it's the acting or just
she's good at being a victim, but not not a killer.
She is not.
Yeah. And this whole, I mean, it makes sense because everyone has their own perception of what these traps are, and you would think that because she has lived through this, that she would want these people to actually live like she's living. Yeah. So it would make sense to have her character put these people in situations that they can live like Jigsaw was doing. Yeah. But at the same time, she's not as good at getting the traps together. I don't think she intentionally set these traps up to make it so that people can't survive. It's just she's new at this kind of thing. She
There's
doesn't
a learning
do this.
curve.
There's a learning curve. Yeah, exactly. First batch, okay, you can kill them all off. Second batch, though, we need to pump the brakes a little bit on these traps, and it's something that Jigsaw has been thinking about and doing for a while before Amanda comes into the picture.
Okay,
and still doesn't excuse her for setting these traps up. But I can see where she would possibly, need that type of learning curve.
Okay, all right.
So
the very, very end, I did not like at all. Where this is after Amanda dies. This is where Jigsaw is giving the guy named Jeff a final chance to forgive Jigsaw.
Yeah,
and his wife has already been shot.
Mm-hmm.
She's like dying there. And he takes this opportunity, Jeff. Instead of trying to save his wife and get her to the hospital or something, he decides to go and talk to Jigsaw and slit his throat.
Yeah.
And then, as his throat is cut, Jigsaw then flops his arm out and starts playing a tape. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You don't have to have tapes for every 10 minutes of the movie. We didn't need that, you know?
Well,
and I get that Jigsaw had to, yeah, I know, but it's just, okay. You're just too much with the tapes. Too many tapes. Too many, I don't know. Just overkill. Yeah, come on, man. It should be a MP3 file.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, we get tapes, and
Jeff gets a
2006.
He gets a text with an MP3 file.
Oh man, that was pretty crazy too. But at the same time, like how they do in movies where you slit their throat and they die instantly, that's not how that works.
I know.
So he would have a little bit of time to push the button, but at the same time, he was probably in a lot of pain. Yeah. So
he's just been sitting there on this, on his deathbed, laying there with a tape in his hand.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see if
he kills him.
Waiting to see if he needs to play the tape. Oh my gosh. Get over it, man.
They could have had him push the button, see a tape in his hand, and be like, "What's this?" and push it, and then have him. I probably would have made a little bit more sense.
That would have been better, for sure. That would have been better. Yeah, to have Jigsaw.
We need to write these movies.
Flop his arm down and press play. While he's dying. Okay.
Yeah.
This is definitely Jigsaw at his worst for me.
Yeah.
As far as all the movies, especially the first two,
the first trilogy.
Yeah, he sucks in this one. All right, so let's grade it.
All right.
What are you thinking?
I'm gonna give this one. I want to give this one an 82.
82.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a B-.
It's a B-, yes.
Okay. 82%. Very nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna be surprised with my grade. I'm gonna give it a 68.
Oh wow.
A D+.
Oh man.
I remembered kind of liking this one when I first saw it.
Yeah.
I maybe saw it 2 times in the past, and I recently watched it for this podcast, and I really didn't like it. I just was like, nope, this isn't even a Saw movie.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a Saw movie to me. So...
Me talking about Amanda's grading curve or learning curve didn't.
No. She doesn't get
it makes sense,
I know, it does make sense, but it does make sense, and that's fine. But that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want the game. I want the moral value. I want the for you to think about it, you know. I don't want it to just be torture, because that's pretty much what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
Each scene
she wouldn't
was
have had
torture.
a test if she did it. She played the game like Jigsaw did.
Yeah.
She wouldn't need a test.
Yeah. I do like what you said, that then eventually it revealed that she was being tested. I did like that, because it addressed that. But it was just not Saw to me.
All right.
So,
yeah.
Just not a big fan.
Man.
All right, so look out for Saw 4.
Yes.
And will be coming
that will
soon.
be coming at some point.
And look out for us on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify, Google, Anchor, and a few other ones. You can find us on Facebook at Scare Talk Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Scare Talk Pod. And if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'll help people find us when they're searching for like horror movie podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Our name is more likely to come up the more reviews we have, even if it's a bad review. You know,
well, please don't give it a bad review. But
if you really hate what you're hearing, then you probably haven't made it this far into the podcast.
Probably not.
But go ahead and leave us a bad review. Any
Say
publicity, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, this has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let the jigsaw